Hello, divine ones. Welcome. This is One Divine Light, and today the guides are going to be sharing a message. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure what this message is about, so you will see it coming up on the bottom of your screen because they have come through with several ideas today. I don't know if they all tie together or they're separate messages. So we'll see how this unfolds, and so you will know, by the bottom of the screen what we're talking about today. And I don't know until we're finished. Dear ones, and this is really our message, or the central point of our message today. And they're showing me they have like several central points, what I think are three right now. So really, letting go of your expectations about what is to come, because everything is always coming and everything is always going. And even the you that you believe is you is always coming and going. And these comings and goings are what create what you call life. You think about life in terms of this, like they're showing me like a line of history in these like time periods. This is the time when I had the blonde hair. This is the time when I had the suit and carried a briefcase. This is the time when I celebrated my birthday. And everything that comes and goes is not who you are. And some of you may have heard this been said before. The comings and goings are not who you are. So then what are you? Who are you and what are you? And it's really a what more than a who. Now, we will explain today and share with you a vibration and a message. However, we wish to state, express, that what we are expressing cannot really be expressed by words. It is really being expressed by the tone, the frequency that we share, which is the frequency they're saying like that they share, and that we share. These two things are not separate. They're saying it, like, what is this, like fun, like ironically, that we share this same vibration, this vibration of truth. And even in saying the word truth, there are like a connotation that goes along with the word truth. And many people think about it in different ways. So even in language, or even saying things like enlightenment or truth or karma, and like these kind of words that you would think of as like spiritual words, and even this is not accurate, but that's okay. We do our best and you do your best, and we use this language to convey a message, and we move beyond the language, and even the what you would call like light language, the sound frequencies that are coming out of my mouth, even beyond this, because there is beyond, and it just keeps on going beyond, and it is really beyond your mind, and it's not an experience. It is an experience. It is not a transmission. It's not a transmission of intelligence. It's not a transmission of us giving you more knowledge, because this is full enough. Sure, you can cram more knowledge in there, but you don't need to. Because ultimately you have to let go of everything you know. And isn't it true that sometimes the things that you know quite often become the hindrances? So they're showing me like something from myself. So I was practicing within a tradition of Buddhism, and like one of the Sangha members told me, like, this is the only way you can meditate. And if you're not meditating in a visual in this way, this like specific way, if you're not specifically meditating on this, then you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. And so then when I stopped and I started following that tradition, and I opened up to whatever was meant to come through me. I had this hindrance in my meditation where I often would kind of revert back and go, am I doing it wrong? I'm not doing it right. Like that seed was planted there. And so they're saying now, Ioroso Tokoroso, very much like this, there are so many seeds that have been planted in the collective about what is right and what is wrong. Ioroso Tokoroso. And because of this, you are always Ioro Tokoroso in a circle, in a cycle, Iokoroso in a spiral. And so there is a downward spiral happening now, but we wish to ask you, when we say this word downward spiral, do you feel a negative, like in connotation with this, the word downward spiral? Because actually it is very wonderful. But you see how everything, all language is laden, heavily laden with meaning and with your own personal meaning. And this spiral is a portal, an opening of a portal that is coming in 2026. In this portal, in the spiral, in the opening of the portal, which is opening, and like they're showing me like now, yes, is like kind of like what you would think about like a full moon, how it goes through its phases. You're going through it's going through its phases now to like a full opening of this portal. So I'm trying to ask them if I could have more about the portal, but that's not their central message today. So they're bypassing me and they're saying like not now, but they will talk about the portal again, because it is actually very important because there is a shift in humanity. There is a shift in everything. And there's a shift in the earth, like the physicality of the earth. There's a shift in the physicality of the earth. And there will be many shifts that will be for the upliftment of all. However, it may not look like that. It may appear to be a downward spiral, but you see, you need to pull the plug in the bathtub for the water to get out. And sometimes the water gets stagnant. You see, you wish to swim in the same pool. You wish to bathe in the dirty water. Why? Because it is comfortable, because it is familiar. And even when it is not comfortable, and you say this water has got tepid, this water has got cold. I hope I'm using the right word. You still wish to remain there because it is known to you. And that feels safer in some ways to be in the known. Rather, and this is like an intellectual knowing or a repeat pattern that you have had in the past, whereas we are asking you, we might even say imploring, and some of you might say like the words like begging you, but not with the meaning that you give begging to, not with this meaning. This is like, now is the time to pull the plug. It's time to pull the plug in many ways. And they're showing me like televisions, newscasts, social media. And there's not that there's anything wrong with these things, but you will see that they are feeding you and you are feeding them, and it becomes about nourishment and what is true nourishment. And this will be different for each of you about what really truly nourishes the evolution of your soul. Sure, you could say that right now. Let's stick with that for now. And what really truly nourishes this? Because the body, the soul, you might say, or some might say, that the soul is like in the body. And we would say The soul's intelligence is in every cell. It's the same way that a baby inside of a mother is sharing all the information in various ways. It's like sharing the food and the hormones and the emotions, like everything that's happening. In the same way, the soul is informing the body and the body is informing the soul. So sometimes you might be feeling like this scenario isn't for me, or these foods are not for me, or this way of living, or this lifestyle, these people, this relationship. And sometimes it's coming from like all of your preconceived ideas or your past ideas or patterns on repeat. And sometimes it is information that the soul is giving you through the five senses, because the soul speaks to you in many ways. And one of the ways, or one of the pathways it speaks to you, is through the body sensations and through these feelings, like through the five senses. I'm just going to see if I can get a little bit more about this. So how the soul permeates everything. You like to think about things as separate, or pieces of things, and we like to think of them like layers on top of layers on top of layers. And these layers, even if you could think about this, if you were to think of layers, then you would be thinking like 1, 2, 3, like a separateness. Now there's layers on top of layers, and then within these layers there are like webs that interweave into other layers. And is this the same? Between dimensions. They have another message about dimensions. Are we going to do this now? No, but soon. This is important. But please understand this. That there this layers of information that travel and permeate each other. So all dimensions, while they seem separate, and they are separated, if you would, via vibration. So if you could think of like notes or keys on a piano, each time you played a note, it would be or a key, it would be different. They want to use the word note. Each time you played a note, it would be different. And you could think of each note as a dimension, but they're all on the same. She's showing me my harmonium, so they're all on the same like piano or harmonium. They're all on the same instrument. And you could say, yes, they are separate because they are each individuated and they each have their own frequency. So in the same way, dimensions are like this. They each have their own frequency, and within each frequency, there is an expression. There is an expression within each frequency. So what expresses in a higher frequency is not what expresses in the lower frequency. And sometimes you need tools to enter, to express upon a certain in a certain dimension. You need, or on a certain vibrational frequency, you need certain tools, and one of the tools that you have is your body, and it's five senses, and then it's extrasensory perceptions, and these are meant to all work together, because you can hear your soul beyond words. And as a matter of fact, it's speaking to you all the time. And this is very important, because you are always receiving information, but sometimes some of you may be dismissing this information. And it's very important to keep your body tempo clean. And now, like the dirty bath of water, the stuff that has created the dirt, that has put the blinders over top of you, that has created the mud puddles so you couldn't see. This is going down the drain. And there's something that's going to... How is this, please? Like it's going down the drain, and they're showing it to me like it's going down like this, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoosh, there's like a carpet that's pulled out from underneath you. But this isn't bad. And sometimes you need to have a carpet pulled out from underneath you, and maybe that makes you wobbly in a like whoa, and maybe that makes you fall over. And either way, it's not bad. And this is what is coming like upon humanity now. And so now they're talking about... Okay, now they're talking about my tinnitus. So I have tinnitus, and I think that it came from gong, because I was playing the gong for so long, and playing it like through yoga and sound baths and stuff, and standing so close to it without earplugs. If you play the gong, think about earplugs. That from me to you, consider it. Although I did have a ringing in my ears a long time ago, and someone once told me, oh, this is spirit. When spirit wants to talk to you, you can have ringing in your ears. And so you can actually ask spirit to turn it up or to turn it down. And I used to be able to do that until now. It's pretty constant. It changes, but it's mostly just there. It's mostly just there. So the reason I'm sharing this is, or the reason that the guys are sharing this or asking me to share this, is because I use it as an object of my meditation now. And as a way of staying present. And they wish me to share this with you because there is this thing that is unpleasant. Like tinnitus or any other thing in your life that you may think is unpleasant. And you may be thinking, oh, well, now I have this, and now I'm blaming these things. They're talking to me now, like I'm blaming this, trying to find the reason for the tinnitus, and what was the cause of the tinnitus, and all of these types of things. And yes, you may be doing this, trying to find, like, what is the cause of this thing that is causing me discomfort in my life? What is the thing, is the cause of this? It is you. It is the way that you think. It is the way that you think that this is a problem. And so everything that you experience, regardless of what it is, regardless of what it is, is there for the purpose of awakening. Now, it may not seem like that, but we would say rest assured. Like sometimes people would say, like, the universe is friendly, like this. And we don't dismiss the fact that it may not seem that way to you, and we are not trying to, like what we say, like sugarcoat it or bypass it to say that there aren't unpleasant things, because of course there are things that feel very unpleasant. They feel unpleasant to the five senses. They feel unpleasant to the ego, which is a structure that has been built. They feel unpleasant to the you that wants to stay the same and doesn't want to change. But change is the only way. Change is the only thing. Everything is always in motion. So why are you trying to stop the escalator? They're showing me the movie Elf. When Will Ferrell is on the escalator and he's like stretched across. Is this what this movie is? He's going up a escalator, yeah. And he's like stretched on it. But this is like humanity, like trying to not move. Even though the escalator is moving, it's like, no, I don't want to. Or I want to be the one that's in control of the escalator. I want it to go slower. I want it to go faster. I want to turn it off. Why are you wanting to swim upstream all the time? Put down your paddles, your oars. Float on the water. Float in the boat. You might not reach the destination that you think you should reach, but you will, in fact, reach the destination you are meant to reach. And this doesn't mean that you don't take action. It means that you take inspired action. You take divine action, action that is informed through your divine self, through your soul self, if you like, through your Christed self, if you wish, through your soul source, if you prefer, whatever words you like, because this is the way, and it is the only way. And you can take other ways, some ways that you call like free will ways. You can take any of the ways, any of the highways. You can do whatever you like. But as long as you continue to try to control the outcome, you will expend a lot of energy towards that. And that is energy that could go towards aligning with the truth of your nature or your soul, or any other wording that you'd like to use here. And we would say the time is coming for the bath water. You could have said the plug and the bath water and this spiral, because as it spirals, like they're showing me water going down a drain. As the spirals, the movement is opening the portal. So it's almost like they're showing it to me like an old, like what I would call it, like an old-fashioned wheel. Like the only way that the water is going to like come is by you like spinning the wheel, and then the water comes up like this, like a water comes up from a well, like with a bucket. It is actually the motion that does it. It is the frequency that is the motion. Did you know that? It is the frequency that is the motion. I'm just asking them a question for a second. So the energy and the frequency is what creates this opening, and it is opening this portal, because there is a shift for humanity, and there's a shift for each of you, and several shifts for each of you, and they are not bad. The same way as they're talking about tinnitus now, and how many times now that I had brought it into my meditation as an object of meditation, how grateful I've been for this tinnitus many times now, because it actually has been so helpful to me. And they're saying to me now, the only reason it's been helpful is because you've been open to it being helpful and not trying to get rid of it, but rather integrate it as part of your life experience. Sometimes you may carry with you throughout a lifetime something that feels uncomfortable, and it is meant to be integrated as part of the experience. Each of you is carrying like a load, if you would, okay? So they're showing me again like a bucket, like of water, like you're all carrying a load of something, and each of your buckets is different. But for none of you, it's not meant that you empty your bucket. It's not meant that you get rid of what's in your bucket. That's not living. It's meant, Ioroso, that the things that arrive or arise within your bucket or that are placed in your bucket, however this may be, because some may arise there, some you may put there, some others might put there. Whatever, however it arrives in your bucket, it's meant to be, I'm already questioning them, it's meant to be lived with. And so, so let me just put my question aside for a second here. It's meant to be lived with, you see. Integrated as part of the experience of what it means to be human. The experience of what it means to be human, not the intellect of what it means to be human, not what you think what it means to be human, but the actual experience. And these are two different things, because experience can't really be expressed through words. That is why when we are sharing this message, we are also sharing a frequency. This frequency that is being shared is more than our words could ever be. Because it speaks directly to the truth of who you are. Like you can say it speaks directly to your heart. If you like this for today. I ask for something like maybe more tangible. You could say it speaks directly to your heart, but they're winking at me like this. But you know, not the you that you think you are, but like your essence self, your divine self knows. And that's who we're speaking to, really. You think that we are speaking to you, and sure, yes, we are, but we are speaking beyond that. And we are not just speaking with our words, because our words are not needed to speak to your divine self. It is the frequency that is being shared through the tone that is being emitted through the voice, and through the eyes, and through the being. And yes, it is being shared through space and time, like through the field. It's being shared through intention. It's being shared like a magnet. That is by all those that are turning on the frequency or the broadcast or an alignment to the broadcast of this. And the true self, or the divine self, doesn't need any words. There's no words. So you could follow anything you want. Anything you're following is just a container. And this is our message. It's like you are realizing your true nature through the container of tinnitus. You are realizing your true nature through the container of what you might call religion. You are realizing your true nature through the container you call living in an ashram, stubbing your toe, losing a parent, a child. You are everything is giving you the opportunity. Is that really the right word? Yes, it really is. It really is giving you the opportunity for the experience. And the experience, yes, comes with sometimes a side dish of pain, or suffering, whether that is the physical pain or the emotional pain, and the mental pain. Yeah, lots of mental pain. And in all of this, there is a truth that pervades it, that underlies it, that is here, regardless of what is sprinkled on top. So regardless of what the side dish is, the main course is always truth or enlightenment or the experience of your divine essence. That's really it. And everything else is the container in which you learn it. The container in which you experience experience it. So not to learn it like intellectually or know it intellectually, but experience and have that feeling, that knowing of it, knowing of that divine essence of what you would call yourself and knowing it as yourself. Not everything else that's been built on top of it. Anaiso show ayana sete karasa so iaya tere karasa te karasa it really is the time now iniaya tokoro for humanity iniaya tokoroso to open to ioro tokoroso what is always here and permeates all things ioro tokoroso te karasa te neshiatai niatara karasa te karasa and it is ioro tokoroso very easy anayata karese te karasa now they're asking me again for a share. So there's been a lot of shares in this message today. So sometimes in meditation, if I if my mind starts going to some other thought and starts getting carried away somewhere else, and I notice it and then I bring it back into my anchor. And so, which is usually my tinnitus nowadays, is usually what I use as an anchor now. And I know a lot of people might use like their breath. And so when I bring it back into my anchor, and then I'm just in hearing, sometimes I will like have that disturbance of my mind where I'll start fighting with myself in my brain, in my mind. I'll start fighting with myself in my mind, and I'll be like, okay, so here is the focus. Now move and open to everything else. And then I'll be like feeling this resistance, and I'll be like sort of getting this moment of struggle or resistance to actually, I think it's more like struggle. It's just like a struggle to find that quiet spot that I had before. And I'll be like, oh, I'm just trying to get back there. So I'm like going through my steps to get back there. And then I realize I don't need to do this. I don't need to struggle. I don't need to go through these steps to do this. Like come back to my anchor. Okay, grounded my anchor. Now open back up and like expand the awareness. Sure, I can do that and it's helpful. And they're saying that also, right? I can do that and it's helpful. And also I can just open to it because it's here. And that's the experience that I have now, right? As if I find myself struggling, I remember, oh, I don't need to struggle. I can just open to it's here. And that's the wonderful thing. And one of the gifts of tinnitus is that because it is a noise and sometimes loud, that it's very easy for me to find the silence, because the loud is like the opposite that allows me to find the silence. And so I love using it that way. Like utilizing tinnitus in that way. As the like, oh, okay, well, this is loud. What else is here that's not making noise? Like what else is here that's not the chatter of the mind? What else is here that's not the suffering? So that is how I sort of work with and embrace tinnitus. And this is a thing that is meant to be, that the bucket that you have, you're not trying to get rid of it. You're all trying to get rid of it. It's that you stay with it and you live with it. And in this way, as it is no longer needed, it dissolves itself. Maybe it is needed for the entire journey. Maybe for the entire journey you need tinnitus. Maybe for the entire journey you need any thing. Maybe you need this thing that you call discomfort. And discomfort can take many forms, so like physical discomfort, mental discomfort, emotional discomfort, and maybe in this journey, this, what you would call discomfort, let's just call it tinnitus for now, is going to live with you in the bucket, and you're going to carry it in the bucket, but that doesn't mean it needs to be heavy, and that doesn't mean it needs to be your identity, and that doesn't mean that you need to get rid of it. Is really opening to everything else that is here, and being or letting go of resistance to carrying tinnitus. Okay, so they're just using tinnitus as an example. Okay, but you could have anything here as the resistance to carrying this with you. And it can be many things. You might have a resistance to like people, relationships. So you might have a resistance to all of them. And as you continue to, or like physical, mental, emotional things, because carrying them is difficult. And we would say carrying them is difficult when you associate your worth with them, your worthiness with them, and your identification of self with them. When you make them into a story and you laden them with heavy words that have a meaning. So if you could think that there was a ball, a circle, and it had no meaning. But as soon as we said it bounces, you said ball, and that added more weight to it. And then when we said basketball, that added even more weight to it, because there's more and more thoughts that come into it. And the more that we say a story around the circle, because before it was a circle, it was just energy, you see? And when that ball gets worn out, what was inflating the ball will be free. But the purpose is to know the freedom while still inside the ball. While you're still inside the body is to know that you are ultimately free. And this ball is your container for this life. And the many people like bouncing it and playing on this court, that is your like your purpose, and it is your way of knowing the truth of who you are, the divine being that you are. So let's let go of the idea of the basketball, and just transfer that information to yourself, your purpose, whatever container, whatever body container, mind container, whatever it is, you're carrying it, not begrudgingly and trying to get rid of it, wishing you could just like empty your bucket because it's so heavy. It's heavy because of all the meaning that you've given it. And if you stop giving it so much meaning and you allow it to be something that is carried for as long as it needs to be carried, because the divine self or the soul self knows, and this is not an intellectual knowing. This is beyond intellectual knowing. The soul self knows what it is here to express, what it is here to manifest, and it will do such when it is allowed to do such. When the air is clear, if you would. I don't know if you could see it. I have a fruit fly flying around. When the air is clear. When this body temple is clear. The things that you're carrying in the bucket that you might find uncomfortable, and the parts of self that you wish to get rid of, you are putting them in good company. The best company, instead of trying to push them away and get rid of them and think that you can like pawn them off on somebody else or blame somebody else for what you're carrying. No, you are carrying it. Somebody else might have put it there, but ultimately you are feeding it in one way or another. And if you feed it, you feed it and breed it, feed it and breed it, and you can stop. And you can allow it to be there as something that you carry, but you don't give the meaning to it. You allow it to be without all the meaning. So I'm asking them, well, what would we do without meaning? What would people do without meaning? You would find what is most meaningful, you see? If my face is turning red right now in this energy is so hot. It's like so burning. Can I have a cool down, please? Thank you. Okay. Because as you carry this, it is meant to be whatever is in the bucket as part of the container for what it is that is needed for this journey. And when you don't give all the meaning to the things that you carry, but you allow them to be here in good company, in loving company, I will lovingly carry you. And these are the parts of self that you feel that you would try to hide, that you feel guilty about, like if you were to snap at somebody or like be short with somebody or be jealous of something, or if you took something that didn't belong to you in your life, you like stole something, or you did something and you're not very proud of it, like all these things. I will lovingly carry you. I will lovingly carry you. I will allow you to be here. And I see because you are here anyway. And the more that you try to push things away or cover them up, or the more that you feed them, either way, you amplify them. Doesn't matter whichever of those ways, you still amplify them. When you allow them to be, and you let go of the weight of meaning, then you no longer suffer with carrying them, and they can be carried lovingly, gently, tenderly, and you put them in good company. When we share with you, when we speak to you, that we speak with you, when we speak with you, we are speaking lovingly, and we are speaking to your divine self. We are speaking to this, and we are keeping, and even though everything that you are, you could say, is like part of your bucket, and okay, how is this? Okay, now we are speaking to your divine self. And if you would think of your divine self, and as one person, as a person, it's not really a person, but if you could just think of that, and everything else about you is what you're carrying. So your divine self is always lovingly carrying the rest of you. So your divine self is always lovingly carrying the rest of you, putting the rest of you in good company. And when we share with you, this is what we are doing. We are putting all parts of you in good company. In this frequency of love and truth. So we don't have to change you. We don't want to change you. This is not about changing you. So you don't have to be a better you. You are already you are already it. You're already perfect. And we are speaking to this perfection, and in speaking to this perfection, it amplifies the perfection. Perfection amplifies the perfection. You see? That's it. So stop trying to dump the bucket or blame other people for your bucket, or create more stories about what you're carrying in the bucket. It's harmonizing all aspects. It's lovingly carrying what's in the bucket until it no longer serves. So how will you know it doesn't serve anymore? When it stops being useful. And they're saying from an everyday perspective, like from a conventional way of thinking about it, and when it stops being useful to the soul's purpose. And you might say, well, why is now they're going to use my tinnitus again, why is tinnitus purposeful, right? Well, actually it's been great for me. I mean, not like, I'm not going to say, okay, I'm not going to say, so has tinnitus been annoying? Sometimes. Was it sad? Yeah. When I first had this and I thought, oh my gosh, like I've had it for a long time, but when it really came on and I thought, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to be able to play my gong anymore. And I actually gave my gong away and I thought, yeah, I'm just not going to play the gong anymore. And even if I'm playing my instruments, like my harmonium, like if it's loud, I can feel that gets amplified. So in some ways I could say, well, this tinnitus is, a little bit of a pain, right? Like I could say, well, this is a pain in my butt. I could say that. And I could also say that it's actually really beneficial because it has helped me immensely stay present and bend my anchor instead of utilizing breath or any other thing. I've used tinnitus, and it's a great way to be present because it's immediate and it's there and I can hear it all the time. And so it's a great way to stay present. And so in that way, I can say it's wonderful. And so the guides are saying, and in another way, you can just say, they're saying to me, you can just say that it is something that you're carrying, and it's a container, so a way for you to know the truth of who you are. Everything is a container or a way for you to know who you are, and you may be learning you may be learning who you are, not intellectually though, you may be learning who you are through the container of something painful, through the container of something shameful. Would you prefer to learn who you are, or to know who you are, or to know the divine self? Of course, sitting on a meditation cushion in an ashram, chanting, that's my dream. So they're saying, like, would you like to do it this way? Yes, yes, please. And the soul self knows what it needs. You have been equipped for the journey. And when you think that a part of you doesn't belong here, then you create more separation within the self, and you create like a ripping of the fabric of who you are. Because you're trying to it's like ripping apart a quilt. And they're showing it to me like this, a quilt where you would have all the multiple squares and then you'd sew them all together. And now you're trying to say, well, this blue square doesn't belong here, so I just want to rip it out. But it wouldn't be the same without it. And you're trying to patch it back together without it. But maybe one day, that square on its own starts to come apart from the other squares, and you realize that you don't need it anymore. Maybe you don't need that whole quilt. You're going to create a new one. Or maybe you don't need that piece anymore. And that whole, that is there in the quilt serves a purpose. And now your bucket has a hole. And or is empty of that. So you could say like a relationship, and you could say that your bucket no longer has that relationship. So you kind of feel like it's missing. But then that's a new container. The missing piece of the quilt is like a new container, a new way for you to realize the truth of who you are. And then you may say that you may spend your life with this missing piece, or you may decide that you're going to put a new piece in, like integrate a new piece into the quilt where the old piece was. And maybe that piece is called relationship, or maybe that piece is called a hobby, or maybe that piece is called meditation. Doesn't matter, whatever it is. It matters not. Whatever it is, then that quilt is going to be a new container for knowing the truth of who you are. So everything comes and everything goes. Everything has its change, its season, its time, its place, its space. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, sometimes it's not here at all. But it is always here. What is always here? The truth of who you are is always here. Your soul self is always here. And these things are not different. There's no differentiation between you, the you that you think that you are, the you that you are, and the soul, or any other language you would use to express so these different aspects of self. You could say that you have many aspects of self, but still they are still the same fabric. Okay, I'm just going to check in here and see if there's anything else that they wish to share here. Well, we wish to share love and this message of integrating all parts of self. And really, this peace that comes from the willingness to carry your bucket with ease. Wherever you go, do it with ease. So they're reminding me of meditation again, and how if you are meditating and maybe you have like a discomfort in your leg or something, that you meet that discomfort with ease, instead of with a struggle or anger or frustration, or thinking it shouldn't be here. Why do I have this pain in my leg? Or I should really move and change positions. Can you meet life with ease? Meet life with ease, ease and grace. Ease and grace. They're showing me like an equation. Ease plus grace equals peace. I'm just going to check now. And love, okay. So our message today is to not be attached to the ideas of who you think you are, and more importantly, be attached to thinking that parts of you don't deserve to be here or shouldn't be here, or things should be different than they are, because everything is working out perfectly for you and is perfect for you. Everything that you see is a container for you to experience your divine self. Even the things that are uncomfortable, and we would say those are sometimes the shiniest gold. So the shiniest gold you could know, even. So those are like the true gold. You know, so sometimes it is the things that are the most painful. That like if you were to rub something enough times, it would become like irritant on your skin. But sometimes you need a lot of polish to find the diamond underneath, to find the shiny gold underneath. Sometimes it needs the friction of the rubbing, and sometimes that's the thing that does it. Has the most worth. Show. Okay, and thank you so much to the guides for sharing this message today. And thank you so much for sharing in this experience with us. And as always, yes, we're sending you so much love. Thank you.